You think stillness is weakness. It's actually the strongest thing you can do. The world moves fast. It speaks in demands, in urgency, in the need to be seen, to be heard, to be noticed. But beneath all of that, there is something else, a quiet that does not beg for attention, but simply exists. Betrayal, a calm lake at dawn, reflecting the sky without effort, this is the stillness beneath the storm. It is not the absence of movement, but the presence of control. Not the silence of emptiness, but the fullness of awareness. We are taught to react. To speak before we think. To act before we understand. We are told that power lies in speed, in volume, in force. But what if the greatest strength is not in doing, but in not doing? Betrayal, a mountain standing firm through a raging wind, unmoved by the chaos around it, stillness is not submission. It is not surrender. It is the opposite. It is the choice to stand in the eye of the storm and feel nothing but peace. We confuse stillness with inaction. But the truth is, stillness requires more energy than any action. It takes discipline to hold your ground when everything around you is pulling you in different directions. It takes courage to sit with discomfort instead of running from it. Betrayal, a person sitting quietly on a park bench, watching the world pass by, the mind is like a river. It flows, it ripples, it stirs. But beneath the surface, there is a deep current that remains untouched. That is where stillness lives. And it is there that we find clarity. Betrayal, a stone dropped into a pond, creating ripples that slowly fade away, we are constantly trying to shape the world to fit our desires. But what if the real work is in shaping ourselves to fit the world? What if the answer is not in changing the storm, but in learning how to live within it? Betrayal, a tree standing tall in a field, swaying with the wind but never breaking, stillness is not about ignoring the noise. It is about choosing not to be consumed by it. It is about seeing the storm for what it is, temporary, fleeting, and ultimately powerless against the quiet strength of patience. Betrayal, a candle burning steadily in a dark room, undisturbed by the wind, we live in a world that values productivity over presence. That measures success in output rather than insight. But what if the most valuable thing we can do is simply be? What if the greatest achievement is not to do more, but to be more? Betrayal, a person walking through a city at night, pausing to look at the stars, stillness is not passive. It is an active decision to step back, to observe, to listen. It is the space between thoughts where understanding begins. It is the pause before the next breath, the moment before the next reaction. Betrayal, a clock ticking softly, its rhythm steady and unbroken, time is not the enemy. The way we relate to time is. We rush to fill every second, to make it count, to prove we are living. But stillness teaches us that time is not something to be conquered. It is something to be experienced. Betrayal, a person meditating in a quiet room, eyes closed, face serene, the mind is restless. It jumps from one thought to the next, always searching for something new. But stillness gives it a place to rest. It is the anchor that keeps us from drifting away in the tide of distraction. Betrayal, a ship sailing through calm waters, the crew moving with ease, stillness is not the absence of life. It is the presence of presence. It is the ability to be fully here, fully now, without the need to escape or explain. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are, regardless of what the world says. Betrayal, a person standing alone on a cliff, looking out at the ocean, we are conditioned to believe that happiness comes from external things, from achievements, from validation, from constant motion. But stillness reveals a different truth. It shows that true peace is not found in the things we do, but in the things we choose to let go of. Betrayal, a flower growing through a crack in the pavement, thriving despite the odds. Stillness is not for the weak. It is for the strong. For those who understand that strength is not in the loud, but in the quiet. In the refusal to be moved by the noise of the world. In the choice to stay grounded when everything around you is shaking. Betrayal, a person standing in a crowd, smiling without speaking. The world will try to convince you that you must be seen. That you must be heard. That you must be known. But stillness teaches us that sometimes, the most powerful thing we can do is to simply be. Betrayal, a person sitting in silence, listening to the sound of rain. Stillness is not a state of being. It is a practice. A daily return to the present moment, to the breath, to the awareness that we are alive. It is the art of showing up, not for the world, but for ourselves. Betrayal, a child playing in the sand, completely absorbed in the moment. We are born with the ability to be still. But as we grow, we lose it. We learn to chase, to compete, to measure. We forget that stillness is not a luxury. It is a necessity. A foundation upon which all other things are built. Betrayal, a person sitting in a garden, watching the sun set. The storm will come. It always does. But the stillness beneath it will remain. It will not be shaken. It will not be broken. It will be there, steady and sure, waiting for you to return. Betrayal, a calm sea at night, reflecting the stars above. You are not the noise around you. You are the stillness beneath it. And that is the greatest power you have. If any of these ideas resonated, I've linked the books in the description.